Choi Minji needed one lucky break in Seoul. The apartment promised no deposit, no guarantor, and 30 days free. On the 30th night, the elevator skipped basement 1 and took her somewhere the building did not list. Use headphones if you can, and keep the volume comfortable. My Seoul apartment had a free 30-day trial. On day 30, I found out why. On my 30th night in the apartment, the elevator skipped basement 1. I was carrying a laundry basket, my resident card, and the last clean blouse I owned for an interview I had practiced all week. The basket smelled like cheap detergent and damp cotton. The plastic card bent against my palm because I was holding it too tightly. The elevator accepted the card with a soft green beep. The button for basement 1 lit up. The doors closed. Then the light for basement 1 went dark, and a second white rectangle glowed beneath it where no button had ever been. 30 days earlier, I would have called that impossible. 30 days earlier, I was still trying to believe I was lucky. I lost my job before my probation period ended. They said budget changes, restructuring, nothing personal. They gave me coffee I had not asked for and a final pay date too far away to help with rent. I walked out with my employee card already disabled and the taste of old coffee drying on my tongue. My family thought the job was going well. Most of my friends thought I was too busy to answer messages. Only Yuna knew enough to ask if I had eaten. Seoul is beautiful when you have somewhere to sleep. When you do not, every clean window becomes a price tag. Jonsei was impossible for me. Wolsei still meant a deposit I did not have. The cheapest backup I could afford was a goshiwon. With a bed so narrow I would have had to fold my interview clothes over my knees. I found the listing at a study cafe after midnight. Under a fluorescent light that made my hands look gray. Furnished 1 room. Near subway, no deposit. No guarantor, first 30 days free. Decide after the trial. The photos showed a spotless little officidel room with a desk, bed, washing machine, a tiny kitchen, and sunlight on the floor. The reviews were all 5 stars. Easy move in. Quiet tenants. No problems. Clean management. The same phrases appeared again and again, but desperation can make repetition sound like proof. Yuna did not even wait for me to finish explaining.
If a place in Seoul is free, Minji, you are not the tenant. You are the product.
I laughed because I wanted her to be joking. She did not laugh back. The building stood behind a row of restaurants, too clean for the alley around it. The lobby smelled like lemon cleaner over new plastic. No broker met me. No manager asked many questions. A tablet on the desk said trial residents could complete final confirmation after 30 days. My resident card was waiting in an envelope with my full name printed on it, Choi Minji. The card opened the front door, called the elevator, unlocked my floor, worked on the parcel lockers, and was supposed to activate the shared facilities in basement 1. My unit door had a digital lock and a temporary code that changed itself after I entered. Everything was too easy. The first tenant I met was a man in a black padded jacket. He held the elevator, smiled, and bowed his head. His smile stayed in place after the doors closed. Not strange enough to mention, just held there 3 seconds longer than a smile should.
Welcome back.
I thought I had misheard him. I just moved in.
Yes, that is usually when people come back.
On my 3rd night, the washing machine in my unit flashed a drain error. I knelt on the cold tile and checked the filter with my phone flashlight, but there was nothing inside except a smell of wet dust. The next morning, a management notice appeared on the lobby screen. Trial residents with unit washer issues may use the basement 1 laundry before move out or lease confirmation. Please scan resident card. I should have noticed how specific that was. By day 6, I knew the tenants were watching me, not staring. That would have been easier. They looked away at exactly the moment a polite person should look away. I would pass 2 women near the parcel lockers. They would smile. I would step into the elevator. Just before the doors closed, I would glance back and catch both of them looking directly at me. Then both faces would turn away together, as if someone had counted for them. That evening, an old woman from Unit 803 stood beside me while I waited for the elevator. She watched my hand instead of my face.
Left hand on the rail when the floor is wet. Right hand when she is nervous.
I looked down. My right hand was closed around the basket handle hard enough to hurt. Who are you talking about?
You. We are getting close.
I blamed stress. Job hunting makes every stranger feel like a witness to your failure. On day 9, a woman carrying a convenience store coffee entered the elevator. She looked at my tote bag, smiled, and spoke in a careful, practiced voice.
Calm voice. Clean answers. Do not apologize first.
I had said those exact words into my phone while practicing for interviews. I had not sent the memo to anyone. I remember the elevator mirror behind her face. I remember my own mouth opening and no sound coming out. I'm sorry?
No, Minji. Do not apologize first.
She turned her head a little, as if she were waiting to see whether the correction had worked. On day 12, a man at the recycling room glanced at the folder under my arm.
The interview is with that cosmetics company, right?
I had not told anyone in the building. I had written the company name on a note in my application folder, then hidden the folder under my mattress because the desk felt too exposed. How do you know that?
You wrote it down.
The food waste reader beeped green while he spoke. His smile came a moment late, like he had remembered the expression after the sentence. On day 15, I saw the woman from the elevator standing near the lobby mirror, with one hand around a coffee cup, 2 fingers raised exactly the way I held mine when it was too hot. She saw me see her. Her fingers moved. She corrected the grip.
The hand is better. The eyes are still too early.
She was not speaking to me. She was speaking to my reflection. That was when the building stopped feeling like a place full of strange people and started feeling like a place full of people practicing. On day 18, my resident card gave me proof. The resident app showed an access log from 2:17 in the morning. Food waste reader, basement 1. 38 grams. I had been asleep. I knew because I had fallen asleep with my phone in my hand and woke up with the battery dead against my cheek. I took a screenshot and sent it to Yuna.
Dots.
Leave. That was all she wrote. I went down to basement 1 after sunrise to prove to myself it was nothing. The laundry room was locked. The food waste bins were clean and silver, lined up beside the recycling area like appliances in a showroom. When I scanned my card, the reader flashed red. I scanned it again. Red. Then the tenant in the padded jacket came in, carrying a white plastic bag. He did not scan anything. The reader turned green before his hand reached it.
It recognizes residence in stages.
What does?
Card first. Habits second. Doors last.
The reader flashed green again, though no one touched it.
When the door opens before you ask, it has nearly finished deciding.
That was the first time I wondered if my card was not failing. Maybe it was being compared against something else. I packed that night. Then I unpacked. My interview was in 12 days. My final pay had not arrived. Every other room required money I did not have, and the Goshiwan I checked online had no window. I told myself an app error was not enough reason to give up the only clean address I had. Fear is easier to ignore when the bill for listening to it is immediate. After day 21, the building began moving before I did. The elevator doors opened before I pressed the button. A tenant stepped aside before I chose left or right. The parcel locker beside me lit green before I typed the code for a delivery I had not picked up. The hallway air always felt occupied a second before anyone appeared, like the building had sent someone there to rehearse the angle. On day 24, I saw a woman crossing the lobby with my interview blouse. Not the same blouse, almost. White, soft collar, one loose thread near the cuff. She carried a navy tote like mine. Her hair was clipped back the way I wore mine when I wanted to look older than I felt. She did not look at me directly. She watched my reflection in the elevator doors.
The blouse helps. She looks more employable in white.
Who does?
The one that will pass.
I understood Yuna's warning then, but not completely. If it was free, I was the product. I just did not understand what they were manufacturing yet. By day 27, the tenants stopped pretending. In the lobby mirror, every visible face turned toward me. The man in the padded jacket, the woman with the coffee, the old woman from 803, 2 residents near the mailboxes, even the security guard behind the desk whose eyes lifted from a blank monitor. Their smiles were not friendly anymore. They were training smiles, customer service smiles, smiles that had learned the shape of welcome without learning why anyone would mean it. I tried to take the stairs that night. The stairwell smelled like rubber mats and old rainwater. The door to the lobby would not open from inside. Through the small square of safety glass, I saw 3 tenants waiting by the elevator with their hands folded in front of them. The speaker above the stairwell door clicked.
The elevator is safer for trial residents.
I did not tell you I was a trial resident.
Listen. All tenants begin as trial residents.
They were not blocking me. That was the worst part. They were simply ready for whichever door I chose. On day 30, the washer failed again. The interview was the next morning. I had 1 blouse left, the real one, crumpled at the bottom of the basket. The machine filled, churned once, and stopped. Drain error. The same red letters. The same little tone, polite and final. A notice arrived on my phone before I touched the machine. Trial period ending. Please use basement 1 laundry facilities before lease confirmation. Scan resident card for access. I should have called Yuna. I should have thrown the blouse away. I should have walked into the rain with a wet shirt and no plan. Instead, I left my phone charging on the desk and took the basket and my resident card, because the next morning still existed, and I was still stupid enough to want a life after this. That is where the story caught up with the elevator. The second light glowed beneath basement 1. The elevator slowed so gently my stomach rose before my feet did. When the doors opened, there was no laundry room. Raw concrete ran under warm white lights. The corridor smelled like dust, wet fabric, and the inside of a new refrigerator. And metal doors lined both sides. Some stood open. Others had temporary name labels taped to them. I saw the woman with the coffee inside one room, sitting at a small table with 3 other versions of her. Calm voice, clean answers. Do not apologize first.
No, Minji. Do not apologize first.
One smiled too early. One smiled too late. One corrected the cup in her hand until 2 fingers rested exactly where mine did. Farther down, the old woman from 803 stood in front of 3 open doors. Inside each room, another old woman watched an empty handrail bolted to the wall.
Left hand on wet rail, right hand when nervous. Say thank you before fear.
The words were not advice. They were instructions for becoming me. The man in the padded jacket stood in front of a mirror while something with his face practiced bowing. Its neck moved first, then its shoulders, then the smile arrived like a separate command.
Card first, habits second, doors last.
These were not tenants. They were finished copies, or unfinished ones. The building had not been watching because it was curious. It had been taking measurements. Then I heard my own voice. Good morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Choi Minji. It came from the last open room on the left. My weakness is that I apologize first. I am working on it. She was standing under a bright ceiling light in my white blouse, holding my phone in one hand and an identical resident card in the other. My phone. I knew the crack near the corner. I knew the small sticker Yuna had put on the case after my old one broke. The copy smiled. It was my interview smile, not the smile I showed friends, the one I had practiced in the mirror, soft enough to seem cooperative, confident enough to hide need. On her face it arrived a fraction too early, before the eyes were ready. I backed away. The basket handle cut into my fingers. My card slipped in my sweaty hand, and the reader beside the elevator flashed red when I slapped it against the panel. The reader showed 2 words in red. Not authorized. Behind me, my copy took 1 step out of the room. You're early. Her voice sounded like mine after a bad recording had been played too many times. Same shape, wrong temperature. A free room always takes payment. Give me the card, Minji. That one has not finished being you. I ran because she said my name the way I said it when answering interview calls. Polite, small, afraid to take up too much room. I hit her shoulder because I was looking at the card reader instead of the hallway. My basket fell. The blouse slid across the concrete. Both resident cards hit the floor and skittered in different directions. For 1 second, we were both on our knees, reaching. Her hand moved like mine. Same hesitation. Same little tremor in the ring finger from too much coffee. That frightened me more than the rooms, more than the copies, more than the floor that was not supposed to exist. I grabbed the nearest card and slammed it against the elevator reader. Green. The doors opened. That is mine. I got inside. The doors closed on her reaching hand. The elevator went up. I did not breathe until basement 1 passed, then the lobby, then my floor. My unit door opened on the first try. That was when I looked down and saw the card in my hand. It was not mine. The plastic was warmer than it should have been. The printed name was the same, Choi Minji. The unit number was the same, but the back had a small silver mark my original card never had, a mark like a check beside a finished task. My phone was gone, so I borrowed my laptop to message Yuna. Before I could type, a building notification appeared on the screen through the resident portal I had never logged into from that device. Lease confirmation complete. Welcome back, Choi Minji. Not welcome home. Welcome back. I left before sunrise. I did not take the blouse. I did not take the phone. I took the duplicate card because every door opened for it, and because part of me was afraid that if I put it down, the building would know which Minji had made it upstairs. Yuna says I should cut it in half. I have tried. The plastic does not crack. The green reader light still reflects in it when I pass convenience stores, subway gates, apartment doors, anything with a sensor. Sometimes I think I escaped because I was faster. Most days, I think I escaped because the building did not care which one of us was real. It cared which card was authorized. They had not given me 30 days free. I had given them 30 days of me. If something is free, you are the product. I used to think that meant data. In that building, it meant skin. And if a place ever offers you 30 days free, no deposit, no guarantor, no questions, look at the resident card before you sign. If your name is already printed on it, leave before the building learns how you smile.